In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to use a simple Dermaroller to help you go from this to this. Stay tuned. Hey guys, it's DJ from Carrots and Brotherhood. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. Carrots and Brotherhood is all about helping you build confidence in your hair loss through positivity, empathy, and transparency. If you enjoyed today's content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also click the little bell to turn on notifications. That way you can be one of the first to be notified whenever I upload new content. So this has been probably one of the most heavily requested videos on my channel. Subscribers and non-subscribers alike have requested that I make a video about how to dermaroll. I feel like there's been enough demand and enough requests to justify making this video, because there's already a lot of these videos out there, but you guys are asking me to make the video, so that's what I'm going to do for you today. If you're not familiar with dermarolling, or microneedling as it's sometimes called, what it does is it causes micro trauma to the epidermis of your skin by using tiny needles to create little punctures. It creates a temporary boost in neocollagenesis, which is the production of new collagen, and it also increases angiogenesis, which is your body's creation of new capillaries under the skin. And these two processes together work really well for patients who are experiencing scarring on their skin, like acne scars or discoloration or hyperpigmentation. Dermarolling has proven really effective in many studies, even though microneedling is mostly used for like acne or by dermatologists to help with people who have problems with their skin. The increase in the collagen production has actually been linked to hair regrowth, because the same factors and the same processes that cause our skin to repair itself are very closely related to the processes that allow our hair to grow. So there's two drugs on the market that have been used to help guys regrow their hair for decades now, and you probably know about those. You have finasteride, which is marketed under the brand name like Propecia, and then you also have minoxidil, or Rogaine is the product name that you see in the market. Finasteride is prescribed by a doctor to help block DHT conversion, which if you block DHT conversion, you're actually able to stop or halt hair loss. And the minoxidil works in tandem with finasteride to actually revitalize the follicles, to regrow your hair thicker, and actually in some cases regrow new hair. So the two drugs work really well together, but the unfortunate situation is not everybody is a responder to these two drugs. As a matter of fact, according to one study, only about 40 to 60% of men are actually responding to the drugs. So that means that 4 out of 10 men aren't seeing any results from using finasteride or minoxidil. So they'll continue to see hair shedding, they'll continue to have their hair falling out, they won't see any thickening of the hair, and overall, they won't get any results from either medicine. Make sure you understand that finasteride, even though finasteride could help you regrow new hair, like in my case, it actually has been helping to regrow new hair, finasteride's main purpose is to block DHT and to stop shedding, it's to stop hair loss. And so basically, you'll maintain what you have. On the other hand, finasteride is not going to stop hair loss. Rather, it's going to accelerate the hair cycle. It's going to also thicken and strengthen follicles that already exist. However, if you're in the early stage of the hair loss, minoxidil will work just fine to kind of help you regrow some hair. But eventually, as time progresses, it's going to start attacking the follicles more aggressively. Minoxidil it's not going to be enough, which is what my personal experience was. I only used minoxidil for several years, and I was doing quite well until recently, where everything just fell out, man. Like the minoxidil wasn't doing it anymore. So I started finasteride. But you have to understand that those two drugs work best when they're used together. Okay, so if you're a guy that only uses finasteride and not minoxidil, or vice versa, you'll use minoxidil and not finasteride, you're really leaving a lot of potential on the table, okay? So before I get into why you should dermaroll, you have to understand that if you're not using those two methods, using any of these three, dermarolling, finasteride, or minoxidil, using any one isolated is not going to yield the best results. So consider that when you're trying to regrow your hair. You need to consider using all three together. That's why they call them the big three. After a dermarolling session, there's three things that are taking place under the surface of your skin where you dermaroll. The first thing that's going to happen is your body is going to start releasing growth factors. In other words, your body is going to start producing these growth factors which cause hair regrowth, which links into the second thing that happens after you dermaroll, and that is that the hair bulbs, the bottom of the follicle, actually begin to release stem cells. These stem cells are what leads to the new hair growth. And the third thing that happens after a dermarolling session is something called angiogenesis, which is the creation of new capillaries, or little tiny blood vessels in the skin. And if you don't understand how that works, the more blood flow you have, the more nutrients that can get in and out of the follicle, which creates a healthier follow-up. Now, dermarolling is actually a non-invasive process. A lot of people here think of needles as like getting shots or something like that. This is not the case, actually, and with the exception of the rare like super long Dermaroller, which you would never use in your own house anyway. A typical household use Dermaroller ranges anywhere from 0.12 millimeters to something like 1.5 millimeters. Even at the 1.5 millimeters, you're barely getting through the epidermis, the outer layer of the skin, so there's really low risk of infection. What you will experience while you're dermarolling is you will experience some redness from, obviously you're gonna have needles puncturing your skin hundreds of times. It would make sense that your skin's gonna turn red, okay? So the redness is normal. Some people, depending on the depth that the needles penetrate, are gonna experience like minor bleeding, like some capillary blood flow coming out of the scalp, but that's not a big deal. Just wipe it off after your dermarolling session. As I already mentioned, dermarolling isn't a one and done type of thing. Actually, most dermatologists recommend using it 8 to 10 times. So it takes more than just 1 or 2 times to start seeing results. It takes multiple sessions. Now, how far apart you spread those sessions depends on the length of the needles that you're using. Me personally, I've been using a 0.5 millimeter. I've been using that for about 3.5 years now. Me personally, I use this 0.5 millimeter Dermaroller, and I'm not gonna go up in size because I don't feel like it's necessary. A lot of guys you can see on the message boards have used 1 millimeters or even 1.5 millimeters. Personally, I feel like that's a bit overkill. I've gotten really great results from using a 0.5, and I don't want to get into the details about how each one is different. I'll put a link down in the description below to a research study that goes in depth about each needle length and how, what it's used for, if that's something that you're interested in. There's a couple things you have to understand about how your body reacts to the microneedling. Okay, so after microneedling is finished, you'll see a lot of guys online saying, wait a week before you dermaroll again. And I feel like that's kind of dangerous advice because they're not really highlighting the length of the needle, okay? If you're using a 0.5 like I use, a 0.5 millimeter dermaroller, you're safe to use it weekly. Actually, you could use it every 5 days, but I use it every 7 days, every Friday, like clockwork is my schedule. And the reason why I say every 5 days is because it takes your body about 2 to 4 days to get past the inflammation. You have to understand also that collagen production continues even after you stop dermarolling. Okay, so if you're using at least a 0.5, which is the minimum recommended to initiate collagen production, which is what we're going for, the collagen production will actually continue for 3 to 6 months after the last dermarolling session. Question of the day. What kind of progress have you noticed on your dermarolling sessions? How long have you been dermarolling? How much hair has regrown? Have you noticed any regrowth or no regrowth at all? Drop it in the comments down below. Share your information with all the other guys that are going to see this video because it goes a long way to helping build a community amongst us. Now, it's also important to understand that even though you finish dermarolling today, your body is going to continue to produce collagen for 3 to 6 months after today's treatment, which means that you can't expect to see final results for at least 3 months after your final dermarolling session. So I'll put a link down in the description below that illustrates this, where guys actually followed up 6 to 18 months after the final dermarolling treatment, and those guys that had continued to regrow hair even after stopping dermarolling. This is a really cool thing to notice. One day after 6-7 months, even though you're still dermarolling, you're still thickening. Your hair is still thickening, your hair is still getting longer, and it's regrowing. Again, I want to emphasize that this is not a quick thing, okay? This is not a quick thing, this is a process, it takes time. So I don't want you guys to go into the comment section and tell me that you dermarolled for 5 minutes and the next day you didn't have an afro. I don't know what to tell you if you do that, okay? I'm telling you right now to have realistic expectations and also to have patience for this, okay? Because it does take time for your body to respond to this. So what can you expect after a month of dermarolling? All right, what I want you to do is I want you to not measure your progress by weeks. Rather, I'd like you to measure it by months. Okay, so 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months. After the first month, you should notice that your hair is starting to get thicker. Okay, you're gonna start noticing that the follicles feel stronger. Your shedding should actually decrease. The health of the hair, it just should feel denser. Okay, so that's after 1 month. By the 3rd month, you should start noticing like new hair is actually growing on your scalp. Okay. The new hairs should be like sprouting on your hairline, they should be sprouting. Wherever you're dermarolling, that's where you should start looking for new hair growth. But that's 3 months, okay? Now remember I told you your body continues to produce collagen for like 3 to 6 months after ceasing dermarolling. Now if you've been dermarolling every week and you hadn't stopped, you just continued with your monthly regimen, by the 6th month, you should actually start noticing like significant coverage on your scalp or wherever it is that you're like dermarolling. Okay, the crown or hairline, wherever it is. And you should start actually noticing significant growth. And the coolest part about this is the hair that you regain by dermarolling, it persists. Meaning you can stop dermarolling today and you'll keep that hair, barring DHT or barring you stop using minoxidil or stop using finasteride. All things being equal, the hair will stay. And the research study, I'll link it down below, that actually illustrates this. Guys, 18 months following their dermarolling sessions, maintained the density of the hair, and actually the hair got thicker over time. So keep in mind, guys, that if you're not using finasteride and you're not using minoxidil, dermarolling is not going to be the end all for you. All right, it's not a magical pill. All right, it's meant to augment the two proven methods to grow hair, which is finasteride and minoxidil. So if you're not using either of those drugs, dermarolling, fine, do what you gotta do. You might see some regrowth, but if you're already shedding and your hair loss is really aggressive and you're pushing your hairline back and your crown's getting thin, I really recommend starting at least minoxidil. But really consider taking finasteride as well. I'll put a link up here for you to see my 1 month, 2 month update of finasteride. So far, if you're worried about side effects, so far I'm golden. I haven't experienced any side effects outside of a headache, which went away really quickly. Okay, so check that out if finasteride side effects is something that bothers you or worries you. There are some things you have to be cautious about for aftercare. Now, even though this is a non-invasive procedure, you're not really going into the dermis, you still are creating microchannels which allow things like creams and oils to penetrate the skin quicker and more deeply. And so even at like dermatology clinics, they use this technique in order to get their oils and all of their products to penetrate the skin. That's cool. Actually, after I dermaroll, you'll see that I put oil on the area that dermarolled and let that oil penetrate faster with the black castor oil. But I don't want you putting on minoxidil for at least 24 hours after your dermarolling session. And the reason why is because minoxidil, if it enters your bloodstream or if it enters your body too quickly, some people, not all, not even a large percent, but a small percentage of people can start experiencing side effects of like a systemic side effect. So like palpitations of the heart, you can start experiencing darker circles and like swelling of the face called edema. But the one that you're worried about the most is something called hypertrichosis, which is your body starts to grow hair in places where hair shouldn't grow. So if you look at this picture here, you can see that this girl has hair growing on her forehead. She also has hair kind of growing on her cheeks, and that is called hypertrichosis. And it's a systemic side effect of minoxidil. Okay, so please, 24 hours after dermarolling, okay, then you can apply minoxidil, okay? Now, if you're using a really tiny dermaroller, like a 0.12, then yeah, you're fine to use minoxidil. Actually, it's okay. But if you're using at least, I would say at least 0.25. Now don't put minoxidil on immediately following your dermarolling session. And also avoid direct sunlight. Your skin is gonna be really sensitive following a dermarolling session. It's gonna be really red, and I don't recommend going out in direct sunlight. So don't go dermaroll and then jump at the beach and start surfing, okay? Because you're gonna probably end up with some problems. Today, I am not wearing any hair fibers. I just washed my hair actually. I'm not wearing any hair fibers at all because I'm gonna show you how to dermaroll, and I can't do that if I'm wearing hair fibers. So if you hadn't noticed already, I'm a little thin here because there's no hair fibers there. But the cool thing about it, you can see right now just how great the finasteride is working. This is kind of like a 2.5 month update since I'm doing it in between my finasteride updates. You can actually see here, this is the area that I'm working with here. I was dealing with some significant shedding before starting finasteride, which is why I started finasteride, to kind of get that in check. But I was almost bald again. All right, I was almost bald again, and this is just from finasteride, minoxidil, and dermarolling. All right, I do the big three. I dermaroll every Friday. I use minoxidil every day in the morning and the evening, except for the day that I dermaroll. I wait 24 hours, and I take finasteride every day in the evening. Okay, so those three things are the key components of my regimen, and this is what I got so far. Here. You have to remember, I didn't get any hairs transplanted into my crown area, guys. So what you see, I was bald, man. I was bald right there, dude. And what you see is just actually 2.5 months of regrowth. Dermaroll, finasteride, and minoxidil. It's really working wonders. I still can't believe it. My wife was like, dude, you got hair. So, dude, let me be a testament and kind of be like a little nudge to consider dermarolling, okay? So let's jump into how to do it, because I know that's why you're here and I keep talking way too fucking much. So again, like I said, I use a 0.5 dermaroller. If you use a different size, that's on you. I'm not gonna tell you what size to use. I'm just gonna teach you what I do. So dermaroller, I've actually used this one probably about more than 40 sessions. You can actually use it for up to 100 sessions, depending on how much coverage you're like using it for. I'm limited to the crown and also to this area right here. And so I'm not really using a lot. However, the needles do tend to dull over time. So if you notice that it's not penetrating as well as you would like it to, or if you notice some like tugging on the skin, then you probably know it's time to replace the dermaroller. okay? But this up to 100 times, you're good to go when using the Dermaroller. Before and after each use, rinse off the Dermaroller with hot water, shake it dry, and then get you some alcohol, and you just want to pour the alcohol over the Dermaroller. Okay, so just pour it over like that. It's alcohol, it'll dry up. Anyways, so you got the alcohol on there and just let that dry. Your Dermaroller should come with a tray, like a little storage tray, so you can just put your Dermaroller in there to let the alcohol dry while you prepare everything else. Okay, but I've already prepared everything, so let's just jump straight in. The optimal number for each area is 15 to 20 passes. Passes, like when you move the Dermaroller across. 15 to 20 passes per little area, okay? Now, you might go under or you might go over 15 to 20. Guys, you're not gonna fucking die, okay? This is not rocket science. You're not even penetrating beyond like the outer layer of the epidermis with a 0.5. So it's really, really hard to mess this up. And so if you're like, oh, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, oh my God, no! That's not, don't worry, okay? There's a lot of wiggle room here. Do what works for you, okay? Do what works for you. So what you want to do is you're actually going to go in 4 different directions. It'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. Then I change sections. Also, make sure that when these are needles, guys. All right, they're needles. Make sure when you're going in direction, you don't kind of like pull laterally. All right, so if you're coming here and you're going like this, don't pull it this way, all right, because you're gonna cut your skin. I don't know why anybody would do that, but it's just a precaution for those of you who've never done this before. I'm gonna show you how I do my crown area, and then I'll turn back around and I'll talk to you about how to deal with the hairline where the hair might be longer for you. But in my crown, the hair is still kind of thin and kind of short, so just watch. Okay, so that was the whole backside. I know the camera kind of went in and out of focus a couple times there, but you get the general idea. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I do this top part here. It's the same thing, guys. So you just wanna go 5, 5, 5, and 5. Let's go ahead and do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Diagonal. Diagonal the other way. And that's it. Now you can also get in here and do your hairline if that's something that you're trying to regrow. It's the same thing, guys. With your hairline though, make sure that if you're doing your hairline that you kind of pull your skin like this and then do it. Because if you leave your skin lax, a lot of people tend to have a lot of laxity here in the hairline area, and you run the risk of the Dermaroller actually tugging at the skin. Okay, and I don't really want you guys to have to deal with that, so be careful with that part. But guys, that's really it. I mean, Dermarolling is straightforward. Does it hurt? The first time I used this, it wasn't a pain. It was like almost like a little cat claw. But I can't say that it was painful. It was just kind of irritating, kind of annoying. You might get some watery eyes at the beginning, but like I said, I've been doing this for years now. It doesn't bother me anymore. One more thing I forgot to mention is if you have acne or some kind of pimples on your head, make sure that you don't dermaroll over that pimple because you run the risk of spreading the acne to the surrounding areas. And because these are little micro punctures in the skin, you'll have a breakout. Okay, I've never personally experienced that because I've been really careful, but I think it's worth mentioning because sometimes I do get the pimple there occasionally in the back or up here on the top. And so you want to be mindful of that. When you're finished, make sure that you wash the Dermaroller under the water, hot water, shake it dry, put some more alcohol on it, and then store it. You're good to go for the next time. Now that I've finished Dermarolling, what I like to do is I like to apply my black castor oil here. And so just a small amount, and I'll actually put that into the area that I dermarolled just to moisturize it. And that's it, guys. You're good to go. You've dermarolled. You're completed your dermarolling session. It's that easy. Your skin might turn red after the dermarolling session. So you can see there's some redness on my scalp here. There's some redness there, but it's not really painful. It's like a slight burn. It's like a slight burn. Sometimes you might draw blood. Like I said, just wipe it off. No big deal. If you're taking finasteride and minoxidil and you haven't started dermarolling, my question to you is why not? It's super inexpensive. I think you can get this Dermaroller anywhere from $10 to $15 on Amazon. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link down in the description below. You can scoop one up and try it for yourself. I do recommend applying something after your dermaroll. Even lotion is better than nothing. The skin's gonna be kind of irritated. It might even be dry. So some kind of oil or some cream. It's so easy. It takes less than 5 minutes, and the results are measurable, like measurable results. You just saw the picture at the beginning of the video, and even now on my crown, you can compare it to the before I started finasteride, guys. Yes, the finasteride has stopped the shedding. Yes, minoxidil helps to regrow hair, but I'm pretty sure that without dermarolling, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in right now as far as the amount of regrowth that I've experienced. And so I really hope that you get to experience similar results. My name is DJ from Carrots and Brotherhood. Thanks again for stopping by the channel. See you next time.